Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Alex. That was quite the introduction. I am Tracy Ashford. I am your national sales manager. So I am responsible for all of Canada. So just kind of give you a little background. I'm responsible for all of Canada, and I have 8 great states, and I cannot forget my 8 great states because they're important as well. But I will say my primary focus is Canada and driving that. So I am Canadian. I corporate home office staff, but I do work from my own home. So that is one of the luxuries and privileges that I have. So just to kind of give some of you might not have ever met me before. So just kind of give you an idea of who I am. So I've been in this for, my son's going to be 21 years in July. So 21 years I've been in direct sales, 9 in the field, and then the rest corporate. So I'll tell you a little bit about my in the field experience. So I got really involved with direct sales. Really because I loved a product line, and that was it. I was a job snob. I went to one direct sales party and absolutely hated it. I thought, if this lady burps another bowl, I'm going to die. And it's not because I didn't like the product. Don't get me wrong. I think it had everything to do with the presenter, but that was my first experience with direct sales. And I'm like, oh, really? This sucks. I bought the product. I have a ton of it in my kitchen, and it's great stuff. But I was like, yeah, no, direct sales is not for me. Show me a catalog and I'll order, kind of thing. So I was at my sister's house, and I was expecting my first son, and I fell in love with the product that she was using, and I tried to figure out how I could smuggle it home without her realizing that I had taken it out of her house and put it in my suitcase. I realized that was not going to fly very far, so she told me they had just come to Canada to look into it, thinking I would host a party, is really what her thoughts were. So anyways, I came home, I looked into it, and I signed up. I bought the kit because I was like, wow, $150, and I'm getting, $600 worth of product or whatever it was. I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I'm just going to buy the kit. And what I would be called, what you would call a kidnapper, right? I'm like, woohoo! I was number 354 in Canada. I had no upline. I was company direct. Even to the day I left, I didn't have an upline leader, coach, mentor. I was company direct. So in the beginning, I didn't do so hot. I will be very honest with you. Our fast start program that we had, I didn't hit one of them. I didn't know what I was doing. And actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I was like, I have to do what? I can't do this. This was not within me. So anyways, and just so you know, a lot of you probably don't know, I was a correctional officer for 10 years. So I have absolutely no sales experience whatsoever. So you put something in front of me and say I have to sell it, and I'm like, I can't do that. But what I was very passionate about this product. I absolutely loved it. So what I found was, if I just shared a passion that I was excited about, people could support it, wanted to buy it, and wanted to be part of what I was like all excited about. And that's really what it was. It was really my excitement and my passion for that really drew people to me. So that being said, 9 years, built a team of thousands of consultants across Canada. We were not allowed to recruit in the States or any other country. So I had thousands across Canada-wide, hundreds of leaders under me, and loved it. Loved every minute of it. I did go corporate, so 11, almost 12 years ago now. And I was with companies that you absolutely know. So Epicure, I was one of their regional sales managers for many years. Love the product, still use the product, will not use anything else because I have gluten sensitivities. It's a great product line. I was also with Cell and Dot as their general manager. You guys probably all know that brand. And then just recently I was with Norwex as one of their regionals for almost 4 years. So again, all brands which are fantastic, and that's kind of been my corporate experience. And now someone came looking for me with Jamberry, and I'm like, oh, who does not like to have cute, pretty nails, right? So I'm like, sign me up. I'm all about that. I live with a house full of boys, so trust me, there is no girly time unless my son's girlfriend comes over, and I get real like, do you want to do your nails? And my son's like, I'm supposed to be spending time with her, Mom, not you. So anyway, so I have a ton of experience. What I will say is that my experience, I will always wear a field hat. So one of the things I do tell Krista and Alex all the time, that I always think in terms of what would I do if I was in the field? What would I do if I was in your shoes? Because at the end of the day, guys, I have been in your shoes. So all of you are starting fresh. You're starting your fast start as if it's a brand new, wipe the slate clean. And I was very honest with you. I didn't hit any of my milestones when I first started. And that's okay. I love the fact that, you know, when Kristen and Alex came to me and said, oh, this is what we're thinking, I'm like, I love it. You know what? It really starts. And I mean, I look at every month as a way to fast start. Every single month, you should be looking at baseline, you know, 500 PRV minimum, and going from there. So tonight, I really want to talk to you about what I'm super passionate about is really the opportunity. It is really the gift of what we have to offer. Because I'm pretty sure each and every single one of you that is on this call, and if I scroll through and I take a look at the others, oh, look at that cute little patootie that's holding that baby. Oh my goodness, how cute is she? Let me scroll back here. I'm just scrolling to see the other faces. One of the things I will say is that sharing this gift changed my life. And actually, sharing this gift, my sister didn't realize 20 years ago when she showed me this product line that she would absolutely, without a doubt, change my career path. She didn't know what she was doing. She didn't understand the course she was setting me on. And neither did I, to be perfectly honest with you. And neither did my parents when they said, you're what? We sent you to an American university and you are, you know, you're doing what now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sell something. And they're like, okay, yeah, this is going to last like really long. And it did. It really did. I cannot, you know, take back the 9 years. I absolutely love it. And to this day, I still am in touch with a lot of my team. They might not be still with that company and they've gone on to other things, but they're still in touch with me because of the relationship that I created. So the reason why I'm passionate about this is because we have the ability to empower other women's lives and a few good men. Let's not discount. We do have some great men now that are doing Jamboree. But we have the ability to empower other people's lives. And I'm pretty sure each and every single one of you are really thrilled at the fact that someone offered you the opportunity. Would you not agree? If you don't agree, then I'm not sure why you're on the call. I'm just saying, right? But I'm pretty sure you all agree that someone along the line has changed your life simply by sharing this amazing little gift called Jamboree. And that's what I really want you to think about this as. My sister changed my life 20 some years ago by showing me a product that I absolutely fell in love with. Now, and to that point, I want to talk a little bit about brand. Now, you are your own brand. This is all about, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about recruiting, but when it comes right down to recruiting, you're recruiting your brand. You know, I always think about you are your brand. So if I go back and I talk about Apple, right? 20 years ago, did people know what the Apple product was all about? No. Were they buying it? No. Do they line up nowadays to get that next generation of iPhone? Yes, they do, because it's all about the brand. Let's think about, and if I just do check mark, everybody knows that's Nike, right? Again, it's about the brand and the brand awareness. So we are our own brand. And I always talk in terms of, would I do business with myself today? Would I do business with my brand today? Now, I'm not saying you need to be all decked out to the hilt every day that you go out. No, not whatsoever. But I will, you know, always say to you, you know, think about it when you're going out and you're meeting people and talking to people and whatnot. I mean, it's always me that I run into people, or people want to engage in conversation after I'm coming out of the gym all hot and sweaty. I'm like, that's priceless. Like, that's just when I want to have an engaging conversation about my nails, but it does happen. But I would say most times than not, when I was in the field, even running to the grocery store, I'm like, oh my gosh, let me throw in a little bit of lip gloss, or, you know, let me run and brush through my hair, because I was a mom of 2 boys that were 16 months apart. So I always kind of thought, would I do business with my brand? And that is a really big thing, guys, because here's the thing. The brand is what's going to sell. We need more people to know about this brand in order for us to grow. You know, people often say, you know, I remember when I was in the field, I didn't want to recruit people because I wanted it all for me. I'm like, it's all mine. It made it very, very difficult for me to book parties, to sell product, and to offer the gift to other people, because people didn't know what my brand was. So when people would run into me and I'd have to explain to them, it's this long diatribe about what it was that I was doing. And I didn't have the ability to carry the product with me. Whereas you guys have the ability. You are a phenomenal brand, And the brand awareness, because you wear it on your fingers. You're a billboard every single day for your brand. So I think that's really important. So never ever get caught naked. Number one, right? Always make sure that you have something on your fingers, and if you can't, your toes, right? Never get caught naked. So it comes down to the brand. Do enough people know about our brand yet to say that we are a household name? Not whatsoever. Can we say that about Apple? Yeah. Unless you're living under a rock, absolutely everybody knows what Apple is. Same with Nike. I can rhyme off Google. There's so many other brands out there that I can rhyme off. We are not there yet because we don't have enough people using our product, or, you know, whether they be a consumer, so a customer, whether they be a host, or whether they be a consultant. We don't have enough of that for us to be a household name yet. So that's why I really want you to understand that our brand is everything, and you are your own brand. And you can brand yourself whatever way you want, as long as you follow within our policies and procedures. Want to make sure that you know that. But you know, being the brand is really important, and we need more people to be Jamberry. So I want to talk to you in regards to this as a gift. And I really do believe, because I think some people, and if I ask the question, what's the number one thing that's stopping you from sharing this opportunity with others? What would you guys say it is? Are you guys all muted? Okay. Unmute them for a second.
Fear, a really big one. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. I think fear, was when I started, that was my biggest thing, was fear of like what other people were going to think, and fear of being it as rejection, which I now feel like, but I've had a few more years than some of these girls to feel like that.
Fear is probably the number one thing that people have, that they're like, oh my gosh, fear of rejection, fear of hearing the no, right? And there's no difference between you. The only thing is, I've heard a lot more. I've heard like probably a million no's in my career, in my 21 years. That is the only difference between you and me. And so fear is number one. Any other things that are standing in your way that you don't offer the opportunity? Is there anything else that you kind of think, I won't offer the opportunity because of this?
I think people don't want to sound salesy. They're afraid that they're going to be like, oh, I'm pressuring them. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully nobody on this call was pressured into joining Jamberry. I don't think you were. So, you're here for a reason. It is a business. So pressure, pushy, salesy. Yeah, totally get it. Anything else that comes to mind?
I know for me, I feel like people don't see direct sales companies as like legit businesses, and they're always saying they're pyramid schemes, and so it doesn't matter what the product is, it's a pyramid scheme.
Okay. Well, and that's why Warren Buffett owns Pampered Chef, because it's a pyramid scheme. Really? And pyramid schemes, really, I always say pyramid schemes are really, the person on the top is the only one that has the ability to earn the money. If you actually look at it, if you look at stores, that's a pyramid scheme, because you have all the employees and all that kind of stuff, and the only one that gets rich is the one that owns the actual enterprise, right? So I always kind of, there's ways in which you can debunk that kind of stuff, but I always go, oh, do you know who Warren Buffett is? And most people do, right? And if you don't, then I'm like, okay, Google it if you don't. He owns all sorts of companies, and he actually owns several direct sales companies, one being Pampered Chef. So I don't think Warren Buffett would be a part of a Ponzi scheme. I'm just saying, he's a pretty smart businessman. He's probably one of the richest men in North America. But that being said, who am I? So, I totally get the whole pyramid thing, and you need to really be able to help people understand. And at the end of the day, it's not for everyone, and that's okay. That is what it is. So let's go back to the other two things, fear and being pushy, the sales pitch thing. The biggest thing, guys, that the biggest piece of nugget that I really wanted to throw on you tonight is get out of your own. It wasn't until I got out of my own way that I really started to grow and develop, and to recruit people, if you want to call it recruiting. I hate to use that word. Sponsor. I love the terminology, sharing this amazing gift, because I do have the ability to share an amazing gift to empower other women. And that's really what it's all about for me, because I don't know what this ability will do, and for the life of change. So I really want you to think about that. What is holding you back in regards to actually offering the opportunity? Is it fear? Is it rejection? Is it feeling too pushy? Here's the biggest thing is when we recruit, so when we book parties, we're asking people to have a party, right? And a party typically. But when we offer the opportunity, we're inviting people. That's a difference, right? We are inviting people to look at what we have to offer, and that's it. It's our job to offer. It's their job to decline. That's all we need to do is really ask enough people. And here's the thing. It's not about you. It has absolutely recruiting or sponsoring or sharing the gift has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the other person. So when you think about being salesy or pushy, it's the people that don't think of that other person. So if I'm not, if I'm talking to Krista and I know for a fact that she's moved and I know that she's got an abundance of children and she has a husband who, is doing a career change, I'm going to really talk to Krista about what could this possibly do for your life? Like, what is it that, excites you about this opportunity? It's got nothing to do with me and it's got nothing to do with my paycheck right now. It's what it has to do for Krista and how it's going to change her life. So I think it's really important, guys, when we're talking about the opportunity, it's really about engaging our ears. I know God gave us 2 ears and one mouth for a reason. We really need to listen more and talk less. And this is really what it comes down to when we're offering the opportunity. Is we do need to offer a lot and hear no a lot and be okay with that, because they're not saying no to you. They're just saying no to the opportunity. And maybe it's no, not right now. And that's okay. I mean, I remember planting seeds with people and it not coming to fruition for sometimes 6 months, a year, 3 years. So, and that's okay. But I built a relationship with that person. And it was okay for them to come back and have that conversation with me every 3 months. So for example, if I was still in the field, I would have called those people that were in my lead list and say, oh my gosh, we just introduced a brand new kit and I'm so super excited. Where are you at? But those are conversations I've already had with people. So let's talk about who do we actually offer this opportunity to. So when you're at a party, whether it's in home or online, I think there's a healthy balance to it. I personally love in-home. I always talk to in-home because even when, I asked Krista and Alex, how are we doing this meeting? I'm like, I want to see eyeball to eyeball. I want to see your faces when I'm talking to you, because guess what? I can develop that relationship with you guys eyeball to eyeball. It's really hard to do that when you are on Facebook. How do you build that relationship? So first and foremost, how are we actually, offering the opportunities? So share with me, what are you saying or what are you doing during your parties, whether it be in home or online? What are your recruiting bits that you're using? And if you don't, be honest, because this is where this is a game changer. Let's change your game and help you start recruiting.
I want some of the other girls to answer.
I'm brand new.
Okay. So is that Lori?
Yeah, hi. So I'm hiding behind my paper because I'm not camera ready tonight. Anyhow, I'm just not feeling it with the camera tonight.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not camera ready either. I don't know what that's on. Oh, good. We're all just girlfriends hanging out, right?
I know. Anyhow, I'm brand new. Just started May the 1st, and I found I had one home party which my upline and I kind of did together, and really I didn't even have to recruit people because they were so enthused about the product. People came to me and said, "Hey, like, how do you become a consultant?" And I was just like 2 weeks in. I'm like, well, so I gave them information, but basically I found people that are interested have come to me about it.
Okay.
And expressed an interest. So now my job is just to kind of slowly, learn more about it for myself and then pass it on to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And in the beginning, here's the thing, Lori, I love brand new people because your enthusiasm and your passion will get people to sign up. Yeah. And if we can just have that enthusiasm and passion at 6 months, a year, 2 years, oh my goodness, people just will gravitate to that. And like, I want to do what you're doing because it looks fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And really that's what it kind of comes down to. So we don't have to have all these pitch lines. We don't have to, but here's the thing. And I will tell you, a survey was just done by the DSA that if there's a group of women at a party, 8 of those women actually take a look at, or they think to themselves, I wonder if I could actually do this. 8 to 10 women. So if we're not actually talking about the opportunity and maybe what it's done for us or what it's done for other people, how are they going to ever know, right? So, and so I do think it's important that we have recruiting lines that we use, just like we have booking lines that we use during our party. We have recruiting lines that we say as well. So what are they? What else? So thank you for sharing that, Lori, that you're not saying anything right now, and that's fantastic. And if you can continue on with that enthusiasm and that passion, guess what? People are always, always going to be drawn to that. And trust me on that. I think that's why people were drawn to me, because they're like, oh my gosh, what happy pill is she taking? What energy? I want to be a part of that. And that's simple. And I mean, they still follow me to this day. And I'm like I'm with another company. They're like, I don't care what you're doing. And they message me because they want to be a part of whatever it is. And it's just, it's you attract your tribe is really what you do. So love that. Okay. So what else are you guys using? Okay. So I'm not hearing so much. So here's the thing.
I like using.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just feeding here. Here I am.
Okay, Kate.
Okay. I use a lot of like when hostesses reach that mark where they can get the kit half off, then I get the balls to offer the opportunity. Every single time I'll offer it then. Otherwise, I do like a post or two kind of in the party saying like, you guys can do, like, what do you think? Look at what I'm doing. Look how easy it is, kind of thing. But
Right.
I find the posts people respond a lot less to, and directly asking is what I need to work up to. But I definitely offer to everyone that hits that point in the party where they can get the kit half off.
Okay, good. Okay. So it's that point where that's where you'll start with your hostess, is that kit half off with the sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, which is good. I will say, guys, that I recruited over 80% of my hostesses, and that's okay. I wasn't worried about that because I always came from a place of abundance with my business. I always had a ton of parties. So I always followed the 10-8-2 principle. I booked 10 parties to hold and close 8 to recruit 2 people. Now, that being said, I always asked my hostess for 15 people in attendance, and they were all in home. We didn't have Facebook back then. So I always asked for 15. So when you think about the numbers, I generally recruited 8 to 10 people a month, typically, but I was meeting about 150 people in the course of a month. So out of 150 people, I booked 3 parties from each party. That was always my goal. So 8 times 3, that's 24 parties a month. If I was giving away 8 of them, I really didn't care, right? Or maybe even more than that, because I still had an overabundance. So coming from a place of abundance, it's not hard to share and share with your host, because those people that are booking parties are really her contacts. So they really should be hers. Okay. So let's talk about some recruiting seeds. So here's the thing, guys. What I do know is that what you say at the beginning of your party and what you say at the end is kind of sometimes what they remember and nothing more. So I think it's really important that we have really strong recruiting seeds. So whether you use your personal story, and one of the things, I was just online, I was in an an online party my sister held, actually. I was like, okay, add me. I'll play the game. And I said, just do not tell her what I do for a living, because I do not want her to be like all freaky in regards to that. And she's like, oh, okay, not a problem. And the party ran for 12 days. I thought, shoot me now. Like, when is this gonna end? I was ready to die. I'm like, 12 days is way too long. She did not talk about the opportunity until almost the very end. And and I kept looking and waiting and whatnot. And I like so wanted to coach her on this. And I realized why the party was so late or so long. She went to Florida. So she had a vacation in the middle of the party, came back. And then at the very end, she did a Facebook Live and talked about, not my Jamberry Pay, but her pay just hit her account. And that afforded her the opportunity. It was the only time she actually talked about the business opportunity. It was the only time that it actually caught my attention. So going Facebook Live and talking about the opportunity is a great way to do it. So one of the things I do encourage you to do, so whether you do this with a post or Facebook Live, because I do like that interaction, and I would take 10 tickets. So you know the roll of tickets? And this is something I used to do, guys, in the field, because at the end of the day, I was no different than you. I was scared. I was fearful. I didn't know what people were going to think of me. At the end of the day, I was like, okay, at the end of the day, I might not ever see this person again. So you know what? I don't care. And I want to make sure that I have the ability to empower someone else's life. So I'm going to just go with it and see how it rolls, right? So I started with the 10 ticket game and 10 tickets. And I would say, okay, ladies, and I would hold up a cute little bag with fluff in it, because women love bags with fluff. I don't know what it is, but put some tissue paper and a little ribbon on it. And they're like, ooh, what's in that bag? I want that, right? And I'd say, I got a great little prize. And here's the deal. You can ask me 10 questions about my business, not product related, because I've already talked some product and I'm going to still do more product knowledge for you guys, but 10 tickets about what I do, right? So it might be, how much do you make? I really just want to know how much you make. I want to be that nosy and know, and that's okay. How often do you go out and party? How long does this take you? Right? So I give them a couple of thought starters, right? And I'm like, anybody got the first question? And that generally starts the ball rolling. And as soon as the 10 tickets are done, I'm like, great. And here's our winner, right? There's always the one person that tends to ask a lot of questions. And that person, man, oh man, I'm going to be messaging them. So if you're in an online party, guys, start to engage them in a conversation behind the scenes. And one of the things I would encourage you to do, because I can't remember, I remember talking to a leader just recently, and she was like, I don't understand why I'm recruiting. I'm like, well, share with me. She was from Montana. She was, I'm not recruiting, and I'm engaging them in a conversation. I'm telling them all the reasons why I'm doing Jamberry. And I'm like, so you're making it all about you. When does it become all about them? And she was like, oh, that's right. And I'm like, exactly. So I said, the biggest question to ask to engage someone in a conversation, especially if you want to offer them the opportunity, is say to them, oh my gosh, Alex, what excites you about Jamberry? It is an open-ended question, guys, and you're going to find out what excites them about Jamberry. So it might be the freebies, like do you get paid in jams? Like, how do you get paid? Oh no, I get paid in hard cold cash, and it goes on my Jamberry pay card. Answer the question. You do not have to have long, drawn out things, right? You don't have to talk about compensation plan. If they ask how much you make on average, I would use average numbers. Don't inflate it, right? On average, a $400 party, you're going to make about $120. And if it's an in-home party, that's about 2 hours worth of work. And I don't know where you can go and do 2 hours worth of work legally and make $120, right? I don't know either. And not that I want to or care to find out. So it really is about starting that conversation. So the 10 ticket game is another way. The other thing is to watch. If you're on an online party, watch people's comments. Go in and start that conversation with them behind the scenes. Oh my gosh, I noticed that you're really responding. You're enjoying, you're playing the games. Thank you so much for engaging. What excites you about Jamberry? That, guys, is a conversation starter about the opportunity. Okay. So now throughout your party, if you're in home, I would talk at different places, whether it be at the front of my party, always at the end of my party. And you know what? I would always go live at the end of your online party, and I would talk about buying, booking, and selling. Guys, it is about developing a relationship, and online is so hard to develop a relationship, and this is so key. If you're not going live in your online parties, make sure that you're doing at least once, if not twice, especially closing the party is so important. And this is how I would close it. And I'm like, I would say, oh, thank you so much, Krista, for having me online and sharing this amazing product with your family, your friends, your coworkers, and all the people that have come. I've absolutely enjoyed myself. So some of you are going to want to buy, and some of you already have, and thank you so much. You're going to be exceptionally delighted with your product tonight. And here's the thing. I am going to actually help every single one of you that is on this or in this online party, and I'm going to be your personal shopper. I'm going to make sure that you make choices that fit your budget and that with things that you just can't live without tonight. So I will check in with each and every one of you through a private message. So now they know, if you're not doing this, guys, now they know you are reaching out to each and every single person that is in that party, because the expectation is they're going to place an order. I'm setting that bar that they're going to place an order. And then that second thing I'm going to say, now any of you here, and I know I can't see your hands, but any of you that really want a lot of things, but your budget just does not fit, then you know what? One of the ways that you can do it, much like Krista did tonight, is by hosting your own party. Put a thumbs up if that's something that you think that you might be interested in. It's really simple. Get them to do a 1 or a thumbs up or whatnot in the comment section. So now you know. I'm like, I would love to be able to reward you with a ton of free stuff like Krista's getting. Now, how many of you, the last thing I'm going to ask you is how many of you actually fell in love with absolutely everything and just need it all, like me? Well, you know what? I have an amazing opportunity package that I would love to be able to send out to you, and I'm going to connect with you. Anybody got a thumbs up for that just got to have it all? Then we really need to connect. But I mean, I've had conversations with people because I've already done the 10 ticket game. I've maybe posted something else about, ask me about my job, whatever, throughout the party. So this is not going to come as a shocker. And so the last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to connect with you, and I really want to talk to you about this amazing opportunity. We're looking to expand all across North America. I always say my backyard because, my backyard is everywhere. Now, I know some of you are going to want to check out and get your orders placed. So here's the thing. I'm going to let you know that I tell them the form of payment. I take Visa, MasterCard. I never took check. Cash, e-transfer. I even have a great spousal protection program where you can do a little check or a little cash, a little MasterCard, a little Visa. I'll even tell you where to hide the receipt so you'll never find it, which is underneath your cutlery tray because no man ever cleans underneath that cutlery tray. And you'll never find the paper trail. So if you need to use the spousal protection program, don't be afraid to ask for it. So I'm going to be checking in. If you need to check out right away and get your order placed, please just let me know. Send me a private message and we'll get you going right away. So that's how I would end every single party. And guys, I would be doing it live. Buy, book, and sell. I have now come to them live, hopefully one or maybe two other times. And now I'm real. And I don't know if any of you guys caught my live reel from Saskatchewan and Regina. I did. Go and check out if you're not friends with me, I was with Chelsea Juckenbach and I did, we were in masks laying on my hotel bed. I want people to realize that I am real. The customers, I am not here to sell them anything. For me, it's about building that relationship so that they trust me, because when they trust you, they're going to buy. All right. So I have made all of my pitches throughout. So I've done the game. I've done another post. I've started conversations behind the scenes, and that's how you engage. If I was in an in-home party, I would do the exact same thing, guys, but I would talk about it a little bit more frequently. People do need to hear things, believe it or not, 5 to 7 times before they actually engage, right? And sometimes it's tactile, sometimes it's visual, and sometimes it's auditory. So we need to be able to do that for all 3 learners. So that's why I love the 10 ticket game, because it's not only visual, it's also auditory, and they see me ripping the tickets, all right? So think about the ways in which you're engaging those learners, because, women of today will engage if they're learning via their mode. And most women, I have to say, are pretty visual. So going Facebook Live and doing it will absolutely help. At an in-home party, I used to share with them all the time. This is this little job or this little career I have has afforded me the opportunity to stay at home with my children. And at that point, I would actually always pass around a picture of my kids, and I would say, "Oh, that's Riley and Braden. There might be a quiz at the end of the game, at the end of the party. So make sure you take a good look at those kids." But that really is my why as to why I do this. I always talk about the money. So when I did that 10 ticket game, I'm like, so if you're looking to retire, if you're looking to save money for your kids' education, if you need a new car, if you just want money saved away, if you just want a night out with the girls, then you really need to talk to me. And you really need to, guys, watch the facial expressions at an in-home party, because there are going to be those people that lean forward and like, what? She makes how much by selling those stickers, right? So it's really important that you're watching body language, because those cues were the biggest thing for me to go, oh, she just leaned forward. That caught her attention. She's someone I need to talk to at checkout. All right. The last thing is, so 5 to 7 times is kind of the key. So think about that when you're, doing your recruiting spiel. Think about the words that you're using and think about how you're connecting with that person, because again, take yourself out of the equation. It's all about them. What can it do to, enhance their life? What can it do to empower them? All right. So any questions so far before I go on? I see heads are down and pens are writing. I'm scrolling through everybody's. You guys are taking, I don't know if you're taking copious notes or snoozing. I'm seeing top of heads.
I just had a quick question about your 10 ticket game, because you mentioned it when we met you.
Yeah.
What did you do for, like, how in detail you give everyone 10 tickets and then who gets the prize?
So, okay, so there's 10 tickets.
Yeah.
And 10, so once I'm like, okay, there's 10 questions. You can ask me any 10 questions about my job. So write down from how much I make, how often I go out and do parties, whatever, how many hours do I work? So you can ask me anything. Just my weight, my age is off limits. Is how I position it. So anybody got the first question? Soon as those 10 questions are asked, that's it. The game is done, and I give out the prize.
Who do you give it to?
So if they've asked a question, that the coupon goes in the bowl, and I would pull a winner out of it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
If they didn't ask a question, they don't get to win. And I would stop and say, there's some of you that are not asking questions, and you're not going to get the chance to win this prize. Are you okay with that? All right. And I would go on, right? So it's just, and I would watch. There's always one person that asks more questions than others. And, obviously she's a lead to me. I'm like, okay, she's definitely interested. But once the 10 questions are asked and answered, that's it. And my answers to those questions, because it's during a party, are very short and succinct. I do not spend a ton of time. I'm not going into compensation plan. I'm not going to say, oh, you can make anywhere from 30 to 40%. No, I would say on average for a $400 party, because guys, baseline, I don't want to be going out and doing parties that are less than $400. I want to work smart, not hard. So I'm like, on average, that's about $120. Where can you go and work for 2 hours and do that legally? All right. And they would kind of chuckle. I'm like, okay, next question. So really short, very succinct, and you move on to the next question. And that game usually, for me, when I used to do it in the field in the beginning, it was, okay, how do I factor it in and whatnot. Sometimes it would take me all throughout the party, but then I got really good with it and started to engage them in conversation. And like, oh my gosh, that's such a great question. So glad you asked. And I would answer it and then move on. Less than 5 minutes to get that over and done with in a party. And it really got them talking about what it is that I do. Okay. Does that help, Krista?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. I want to talk a little bit, and because I'm on my phone, I can talk about this subject, guys, forever, because I am so passionate about it. But the last thing I want to talk about is our hostesses, which is our natural thing. I do hope that you always offer the opportunity to your hostess before you go into that party. And here's the reason why. I would hate to go into a party and she's got 15 guests there, and I'm asking behind the scenes, I'm talking to them about the opportunity and whatnot, and I've not offered my host the opportunity first. That's such bad manners as far as I'm concerned. First of all, if the guest goes back to her and it's like, oh, she's asking me if I want to do business, the hostess is going to go, what's wrong with me? Like, she didn't ask me. So hostess coaching is so important. And this is really when, for me personally, I always treated them as a business partner. I let them know that they were my business partner, and I wanted to get them as much free product as I possibly could, because guess what? When they have a great party, yeah, I have a great party, but they tell everyone. And nowadays they hashtag it, they tweet it, they post it, you name it. And if they have a poopy party, they double that, right? So we want to make sure that they are always having a great party. My job is to ensure that. So hostess coaching is important. My very last call and my contact with my hostess was always about the opportunity. So, and it was always short. It was always, about 24 to 48 hours before my party started. And I would call them and say, oh my gosh, you've been such a wonderful host. I can't wait to do your party. But you know what, Krista, in that hostess package that I gave you, you might have noticed a little trifold, and this is probably going to come out of left field at you, but have you ever given any thought to doing what I'm doing? And that's how I used to approach it, guys. I always asked her before I went into that party. 9 times out of 10, she would say, oh, no, I just like to host. I'm like, okay, that's great. Can I ask one thing of you, though? And she's going to say, sure, because now we're besties. I'm like, can you watch what I do the night of your party and see if you can see yourself in my shoes? Can you just do that for me? She's going to say, sure. I'm like, great. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to your party. Can't wait. And off I go. So I arrive at her party, have my tiny little bag, 10 products set up. She's like, that's it. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. Here we go. And I'm like, so before any of the guests come, I'm going to say to her, have you given any thought to that big bomb I dropped on you? And she's like, what bomb? The one about you doing what I'm doing? And she's going to say no again. I'm like, that's okay. Just watch what I do tonight. That's all. She's like, okay. Then at the very end of the party, guys, this is where having a very successful party comes into play. Or, I mean, I've even recruited hostesses that have had poopy parties. It doesn't really matter. I would go to her, and there's always a few people that are hanging about at the end of a party, especially an in-home party. And I'll go up to her, I'm like, oh my gosh, so Krista, you know what? You got 3 bookings from this party. Fantastic. So a few of your friends and coworkers want to have a party. You had this amount in sales, which is going to give you this amount in free product and half price. So just as much as you've gotten that, I made this amount of money by doing your party tonight. Now, these other three bookings from your family and friends actually represent about $500 in commissions. What would you do with an extra $500 in the next 30 days? So let me ask you guys, do any of you do that? Do any of you approach your hostess like that?
I almost always ask my hostesses. I would say probably always, unless like the very, very odd exception.
Yeah.
That being that they were like my best customer ever. Then I have not. But generally I always do. And I'm always very careful to try and plant seeds as well ahead of time. Even when the party is leading up and just saying things like, can you believe I'm getting paid to do this? Or, you know, I'm so thankful. Like when they message me about being busy, I say, no worries. This is the great part about only working part-time now because of Jamberry. So just trying to also plant those seeds in and then encouraging them along the way, saying, you're doing so great. Do you realize that you're basically doing my job already? You're doing awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. That's awesome. Because that's exactly it. I always gave them a target to hit $200, and now my price point on my product was higher, but I always gave them a baseline of $200 to hit in outside orders. Guess what, guys? If they're already collecting orders and doing that, they're already doing my job. So why would they not want to be that? So always make sure to ask your hostess first. Always make sure that you're planting those seeds in your party, whether they're online and in home, and always handing out those recruiting packages. And here's a tip with the recruiting package, and I've seen over the course of my years some recruiting packages. My tip for you is this: less is more. You do not need a ton of stuff in there. A catalog and the host join brochure is all you need. You really want them formulating questions so you can have the conversation with them, whether it's on, and I do hope it's online. It's not online. It's not private messaging. It's actually on the phone, because that's where you're really going to get. It's really hard for her to walk away from a conversation on the phone. It's really easy for her to walk away from a private message on Facebook. So really think about that. How are you connecting? How are you having those conversations? The last thing I want to talk to you about tonight, and I know that I've kept you probably way longer than you assumed, is about prejudging. Now, we all do it. I've been, shamefully, I will admit that I did it a lot. And I have people even to this day who I coach, and like, yeah, no, I don't want kidnappers on my team. And I'm like, really? So you wouldn't have wanted me on your team then, is what you're saying. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, and I went on to be the top of the echelon in the compensation plan with a large organization. You wouldn't have wanted to be on your team because I initially thought I was going to be a kidnapper. And they're like, oh. I said, don't ever prejudge what you, or who you want to offer the opportunity to. And I'm going to just tell you this quick little story about my own. And I always say, learn from me, learn from my mistakes, because I made them all. So I had this really great hostess who lived in Southern Ontario, just here in Oakville, lived in a multi-million-dollar mansion. I was married to the CEO of the Dial Corporation. Went and did a party for her at least 2, sometimes 3 times a year. Sales were anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Figure out the commission on that, guys. $3,000 to $5,000. Why would I give up that, right? Connected with her really well. She had 5 kids. One had some disabilities. He had cerebral palsy. I have a brother with CP, so I connected really well with her. So I always went, and, even to this day, we're still connected. So that being said, walked into conference one year. Conference is always in August. Walked into conference, and she came running up to me. She goes, I've been waiting for you to get here. I'm so excited to see you. And I was like, what are you doing here? Was rolling through my mind. I'm like, you're my hostess. Like, you're not supposed to be here. What? Like, anyways, I'm like, oh, she goes, I joined. I'm so excited. I couldn't wait to see you and give you a hug. And I'm like, that's great. First and foremost, I had to get over myself because I was shocked. I was like, what the heck? All I could see was great big huge dollar signs floating, going. I'm like, what the heck? So anyways, so afterwards, I met up with her, went into her. I'm like, can we meet for coffee, like after conference is done? I would love to sit down, chat with you, catch up. She goes, yeah. So anyways, we sat down. And here's the deal. I kind of said to her, I said, like, what happened? Like, you joined. And she goes, yeah, she goes, I happened to be at someone's party and it was just the right time. I'm like, okay, but you didn't contact me. And she goes, no. She goes, well, to be perfectly honest, Tracy, you didn't ask me. And she's right. I didn't ask her. So, because I prejudged. She lives in a multi-million-dollar home. She was married to a CEO. Like, she's got a busy life. But like, why would she want what I want, right? Again, I'm thinking for her. So, and so I finally said, why did you join? Why did you decide to become a consultant? She goes, I wanted something for me. So there are many women who join our organization that just want something for themselves. So don't ever prejudge. We don't know. It's like that server in the restaurant that, goes around the room. His job is to offer us, so to give us exceptional customer service. And that's our job, to give our customers, our hostesses, exceptional customer service. But at the end of the meal, his job is to come back and offer us dessert. And I don't know about you. I mean, I always think, I deserve to be offered a slice of cake. I'm not saying that I'm going to take it, but it's his job or her job to offer it to me. It's my job to decide whether or not it fits within my macros of the day or whether or not I can eat it, right? So it's exactly the same thing with us. This is our job. Our job is to offer this amazing gift and this amazing opportunity to other women, to empower them. You guys are all empowered to go out and empower other women. And when you look at it like this, it takes the whole being pushy right out of it. It takes the whole fearful right out of it. All they're doing is saying no to an opportunity that could possibly change their life. At the end of the day, you've done your job, right? Their job is to say yes or to say no or to say maybe I might take a look at it, right? But we don't know unless we ask. So I always go back to 8 out of 10 women at a party are thinking, I wonder if I can do this. So we're letting a lot of people walk away. And I'm never okay with, this person, Colleen, going and signing up on someone else's team. I was never okay with that, right? Because I had the relationship, I had the connection with her. So here's the thing, guys, I'm going to charge you with, and part of Fresh Start is offering the opportunity. I love, and I can't, hold on, what was her name? Was it Lori? Brand new. She has a piece of paper up over her. Yes, Lori. She's not camera ready.
That's me.
Okay. Her excitement and enthusiasm is drawing people into her business, right? It's what she is putting out there. When you put that out there, I'm really about this whole, what you put out is what you get back. If you're excited and you're passionate about what you do, and gosh, guys, I know you are excited and passionate about Jamberry, you are your own best customer, then when you put that out there and you share it, people are going to be attracted to it. And we have so many huge announcements that are coming out of conference that, oh my gosh, we're going to want to be like literally standing on our rooftops shouting this out. And we want to be sharing this with as many people as we possibly can. So that being said, I'm going to open it up to questions and answers. Does anybody have any questions for me? Pick my brains, guys. If I was to go out tomorrow, and I know that when I was in Regina, Saskatchewan, a week ago, and Chelsea Dockenbach heard me talk, she's like, you're not allowed to leave this booth. She goes, I cannot believe it. You have put everything, like, people were just gravitating to me because it's the way I talk to people and it's the energy that I put out. But that being said, I'm going to open it up for questions. You've got me, so may as well ask, because here's the thing, guys, I want you to be successful. And on whatever level that you want that success, if you want to go to the top, then I'm here to help support you. I will get my pom-poms out and cheer you on. But I'm sure you have questions that you might need to have asked and answered. Everybody is so quiet. I'm not that scary. Krista can even attest to it. I am not that scary. I don't bite.
I can
Okay, I'll go. Hi, it's Lori again, the faceless person. Okay, so as a really, really new consultant, my one issue or concern with recruiting is just I don't feel like I know enough yet. And I don't want to be this person who's getting asked questions I can't answer. So I'm trying to kind of get as caught up as I can on everything Jamberry. Once school ends, I work at a school, so once school ends in a few weeks, I can really immerse myself a lot more. But my concern is just how can I be the expert when I don't feel like I'm the expert?
You know what, Lori? Thank you so much for asking that question, because you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, you do not need to know all the details. You do not need to know all the answers. I even tell Alex and I tell Krista, because I could, that there could be days I don't have answers, and that's okay. And you don't. And one of the things is you know, the great thing about this organization and the great thing about direct sales is there are other people that have the answers to those questions. So we have these groups. I'm sure that you're in a group with these lovely women who probably have some of the answers for you. And even when I was in the field, and even now to this day, if I don't have an answer for someone, I'll say, you know, that is such a great question, Lori. I'm so glad you asked. But you know what, at this present time, I don't have the answer for you. But you know what I will do is I'm going to go and find the answer, and I'm going to get back to you. How does that sound?
Absolutely. That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You do not need to be the. I used to have people on my team who used to memorize the catalog, memorize the prices. I never remember the memorized prices on anything, because you know what? I wanted them to go search it in the catalog. For me, it wasn't about that. It was about the benefits and the features. People often say, "Oh, what do you have? What color do you have on your fingers today, Tracy?" I'm like, I couldn't tell you, because you know what? It's not that the color isn't important. To me, it's really not. It's a detail, right? And if I know, I'm like, oh, I'll get back to you. I'll let you know what color that is.
Yeah. Okay.
Do not feel that you need to have all the answers in order to recruit, because you don't. The less things you know, actually, the better it is.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You gotta get to bed. Go.
I want a kiss.
We want to kiss.
Okay, good night. See ya. Bye. Say goodbye, little ladies. Goodbye.
Bye.
If I could only get a kiss out of my 19 and 20-year-old. Anyways, be so lucky. Be so lucky. Anyways, okay, what other questions do you have? But that was a great one, Lori, so thank you for asking that. Nothing? Oh my gosh, crickets. I feel like I'm Bueller. Bueller.
I know. I was just gonna say, guys, I really just want to encourage you guys to take the chance for this opportunity. This is not an area that I would say we are strong in as a team. I know that it's something that a lot of you guys find really, really, really daunting, and I felt like this at first, and Tracy is excellent at this. So I really want to encourage you. There are no stupid questions. Even if you have a scenario, a customer that you've been thinking about, and you want to get some ideas, I really, really want to encourage you guys to make the most of this time, because once she's gone, you're stuck with Krista and I again. So I really encourage you guys to take advantage of.
Seriously, like, you guys are not chump change. You guys are experts in this. So, you know, but yeah, if there's someone that you've been working with and you just can't get them off the fence, then ask me the question. Give me the scenario and let's work it through. The biggest thing I want you guys to do is just start having these conversations with people. I think it's the biggest thing, is that we're not lead generating, we're not having conversations, and we're not asking enough. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, if I looked at how many people I asked in the course of my month to fill my funnel to recruit the people at the bottom, I had to talk to a lot of people. And I knew in the beginning, I didn't understand. Like, oh my gosh, I have to talk to how many to get one recruit? And then the more I did it, the better it got, right? And the easier it became. And I'm like, okay, I know how to overcome that objection now, right? I understand when she says, I'm too busy, or oh, I don't have the time. That's the biggest one, right? I don't have the time. I'm like, oh, really? I so hear what you're saying, Alex. Us women of today are super busy. But I always ask a question or answer a question with a question. I'll say, how much time do you think it actually takes me to do this business, right? Because in their mind, they're thinking it takes a lot of time, and it really doesn't. It's so online now, but way back when, I feel like a dinosaur. Way back when, it took a lot of time, because everything I did was email or on the phone. And I would say 90% of my business was on the phone. So I got really, really comfortable with it.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Kind of a scenario. I have one girl I've been talking to for a while. Actually, she found my website. We work together, or we used to work together. And she found me somehow online and said, hey, what are these Jamberry things? Like, I was totally dumbfounded. Anyways, so I sent her some samples, and now she's like one of my biggest customers. And we've been talking about her joining for like, feels like forever, over a year probably, where she'll be all about it. And then she'll, whenever I talk to her about it, she seems very interested. And then whenever it kind of comes time to to actually sign up, she, like, this is all in private message, because I don't, like, I'm on mat leave and stuff, I don't see her. She'll be having full-on conversation, and then whenever it comes time, this conversation's dead, gone. And then I won't hear from her at all. Like, I'll even check in, like, oh, how was your order, and talk about other stuff that's not joining related. And then she'll come back and talk to me, and like, or I'll like, so Canada 150, hadn't heard from her. All of a sudden she wants to order this Canada 150, and then I say, oh great, like, I'm glad you love it. And then I always kind of say, like, well, you could join, and you can, like, get the commission off this or get it cheaper or whatever. And then if she says, oh no, not right now, then I'll place the order for you or whatever. So we had a joining, like, an event at the end of every month that Alex and Krista put on. She even said in the event, I know I need to jump on the consultant bandwagon. And I was like, yes, I couldn't agree more, like, whatever. And then so when I started talking to her about it, again, totally silent until she wants to place an order. And it's like the conversation just keeps going and going in circles.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you're doing this all in private message. Have you ever actually just ever got her on the phone?
Oh, that was Alex's suggestion. So I am
girl, that Alex.
I know. I knew you were going to say that too.
Or why don't you guys, do you live relatively close to her because you work together?
Yeah, we do live about 20 minutes away.
Why don't you just meet for coffee? Let's get together. I haven't seen you being on mat leave. Why don't we go and have coffee?
Okay.
Let me treat you. And then when you're sitting there and say, I know we've been back and forth on this horse and, talking about the opportunity, I would just come right out and say, Kate, I would say to her, what truly is stopping you from starting today? What is it?
Okay.
And go from there. But get her eyeball to eyeball. I'm telling you guys, the best way to recruit, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if someone sat down with me and I was having that conversation with them, and way back when, it was a contract, they signed it, they filled it out and whatnot. But even now, you pull out your phone and hand them your phone and they can sign up. It's not hard. But 9 times out of 10, if they're meeting eyeball to eyeball with me, they're signing up. Right? I mean, and it's, and don't mistake, here's the thing. Don't mistake that cocky. That's just confident that I know that this is an amazing opportunity, right? And I have built that relationship with her that I can have that conversation and say, oh my gosh, like, what's stopping you from starting? We've gone around and around in circles. Like, what is it? Like, just put it on the table. Let's address it. Right? And she can't walk away. You're sitting having a cup of coffee. And I think that, I will say, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that in Jamberry world, I'm not pointing any fingers at it, like just in Jamberry world, we rely too much on private messaging and not having and building that relationship and having that conversation. And I'll tell you, I have never had a consultant ever hang up the phone on me if I call them. They're like, "Oh, Tracy's calling," right? And the same thing with your potential recruits. This is a relationship building business. Guys, learn to pick up the phone. I cannot stress it enough. Your mouth will always make you more money. So, and Krista and Alex know, I have no problems picking up the phone and calling them whatsoever, right? And I would have actually no problem if someone said, Tracy, I need help closing someone. Great, let's do a 3-way. And I'll have a conversation with them. It's a little intimidating for someone to have a 3-way, but I used to do that with my team all the time. So does that help, Kate?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. So don't be afraid to say, hey, why don't we get together? I don't know if she has little ones, but why don't we go for coffee? Haven't seen you in a while, and I would love to catch up.
Okay, sounds good. I'll do that. I'll challenge myself.
You can do it. You can do it.
Thank you.
Questions? You're welcome. No, they're such a quiet bunch. And I know you guys are all processing, and that's okay. You might come back to me and might private message me, I've got this question or I've got this scenario, and that's fine, guys. I have absolutely no problems with that. Here's the thing. I want you to get really, really super, super comfortable with just having the conversations and offering the opportunity to people, and think of it as dessert. You're offering dessert, and it's their job to say yes, or their job to say no, or maybe I might think about it, right? So just start having those conversations, start implementing those recruiting seeds throughout your party, and you'll be surprised. And again, just kind of move yourself out of the way. Take yourself out of the way. It's not about you. It's about that person and what this opportunity could do for them, right? My course of my life would change 365 degrees because of my sister. And I'm forever grateful for it. So direct sales has given me an amazing life. It's given my children the opportunity to have their mom at home and to show them that she can stay at home and be an entrepreneur, and then go corporately and do the same. So anyways, you don't know how it's going to impact or empower someone. So
Thank you so much, Tracy.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching.
I know it was a long one. I apologize. I thought we had 30
good.
minutes, but I'm like, Tracy's got like, as much as I say 2 ears and 1 mouth, it's different when I'm training. I do tend to talk a little bit more. I want to thank you guys. Please do not hesitate to reach out. Please use Krista and Alex as a resource, guys. You know, they're amazing women. And I know that they want to empower you to find the success level that you want in your business, right? We're all here to help support you. So whatever I can do, whatever they can do, I'm grateful. I'm blessed that I'm able to work with these two wonderful women on a bi-weekly basis. So thank you very much for having me tonight. And conference is around the corner. Who's going to be there?
Just Alex.
And Rachel too, but she's not on the call tonight. She has soccer.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, I mean, you will find me. Make sure you come and see me. You guys are going to be like, seriously, you guys are going to be like just vibrating by the time you leave JamCon. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see you, Alex. Give you a hug. And I look forward to seeing the success of all of you guys on the call. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.
Tracy.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.